All right, Charlie, stick with me. Want to bring in Michael Steele, former chairman of the Republican National Committee and former Maryland lieutenant governor. Also with us, Donna Edwards, former Democratic congresswoman from Maryland, contributing columnist at the Washington Post, and an MSNBC analyst. Michael, let me start with you on this one and talk first about this appointment now and acceptance of this appointment of Adam Kinzinger. How do you think this is going to affect how the majority of Republicans see this January 6th Select Committee, or will it?
It will. Look, first off, congratulations to Adam. I appreciate his stepping up. I actually called for this appointment the day McCarthy said he was pulling all of the players off the field. So I'm glad to see that this has pursued the course that it should, with the outcome that we need. Number one. Number two, I think Republicans are going to be of a split mind here. The hardcore Trumper types, this is a write-off. This is all politics. The big lie is still the cause celeb. For the rest of us, American citizens out here who look at this, regardless of party, we want to know exactly what happened. And here's the other new reality that's now going to come into focus pretty quickly. To Charlie's point about people being called to testify like McCarthy and Jordan and others. Will they? Will they actually come if called? And what measures is the committee prepared to take to get those behinds in seats in front of them to make sure that they do testify? Republicans are beating their breasts right now in Texas because, when those Democrats come back from Washington, we're going to arrest them and force them to pass this regressive voting bill. So I wonder just how much they're going to be applauding when the Speaker of the House calls for the Sergeant of Arms to arrest the minority leader to come and testify before this committee. I think they're going to be singing a different song when that shoe is on the other foot, to mix a metaphor.
Charlie, could you respond to that? Do you think these folks, do you think McCarthy, do you think Jordan would actually show up to, in fact, testify? Because they certainly know how to spin things if they don't want to show up.
No, I mean, honestly, I think they're going to resist it. I think they are all in on resisting finding the truth. They want a memory hole January 6th. They do not want a fair investigation. They do not want all the facts to come out. And so they will beat their chests, and they will find all kinds of ways to obstruct this, and to discredit this investigation. I think, it used to be, remember the old adage during Watergate that, it's not the crime, it's the cover-up? They're not even really bothering to cover it up. They're just simply going to discredit everything that is going on. So I don't expect them to behave in a responsible manner.
There's two sides to this January 6th Select Committee, Donna Edwards, the way that I see it, right? There's a side of getting to the truth, why this happened, making sure this never happens again. And then there's the politics of all of this. And speaking of the politics bucket of this, who is this January 6th Select Committee for?
Well, it's for the American people. I think that if you look at recent polling, suggests that a majority of Americans, Democrats and independents, and, some Republicans really do believe that there is more to be learned from the January 6th Commission. There is the slice of the American public that really cares about democracy and cares about whether we're going to have a system in the future that can stand up to this kind of authoritarian move. And so I think that there's a huge audience out there and a desire among the American people to get to the truth. And I think that Nancy Pelosi has done, the kind of move that she's done her entire career, which is to care about the country and to put the country first. And so I'm actually looking forward to hearing and listening to the testimony, but I suspect a number of Americans will be in tune as well to seek the truth.
Donna Edwards, let's talk a little bit about infrastructure and voting rights as well, as Michael Steele talked a little bit about with voting rights. And that is, if we're talking about infrastructure, right, the president trying to get this infrastructure deal across the finish line has not been successful as of yet. It seems like any moment, as Secretary Raimondo told, I believe earlier today, one of the networks, that it's going to happen, certainly soon. That being said, we also have the issue of voting rights in this country. You got Texas Democrats camped out in Washington, D.C. to make sure there's a national movement when it comes to voting rights. How do Democrats stay focused both on infrastructure and voting rights?
Well, look, I do believe that the bipartisan infrastructure deal, along with the budget reconciliation to bring the care economy into this and climate change, is going to happen. It will just be a matter of time, of days, if not a couple of weeks. But I think that Democrats cannot go home without dealing with voting rights. This is fundamental. It is both a moral imperative, but it also is a political one. And I've read the reports about, the potentially out-organizing the voter suppression laws. Organizing litigation can only take you so far. We need a real change in the law to make sure that across the country, these laws that have been put into place and the ones that are not very far behind don't ever really take hold, so that voters are able to cast their votes freely and fairly. And I think Democrats, let me just say this, Senate Democrats, because House Democrats have actually done their work. It's on Senate Democrats to get the job done.
Potential Governor Michael Steele, talk to me about this consideration in running for governor and what is possibly inspired. I'm putting all of these kind of, words of couching what may or may not happen in my question. What is it that is inspiring you to possibly re-enter the arena?
Well, it's for me, fundamentally, it's about service. It always has been. I think I've shown that kind of independence over the years of thought and action. But more than that, there's a lot going on in our states. There's a lot of recovery yet to come on the heels of COVID. And not just in terms of health, but in terms of economies and how communities now come together. And I think what you're seeing right now in Washington is playing out across the country in other ways, in Texas, Arizona, in the voting space, and in a lot of our urban communities with respect to violence and police issues. So I think for a lot of, particularly for like-minded Republicans like myself, is trying to figure out how do we now, in light of where this party is, how do we reset the national and the state conversation? And that's what you kind of look at, or at least hope to do.
We'll be watching Michael Steele. Yeah, or hope to do. Hope. Charlie Sykes, Michael Steele, Donna Edwards, thank you guys all. Appreciate you joining me on this.